Welcome to our final week of the course. I can't believe we are approaching to the end. During the previous week, we discussed how to differentiate the learning environment and make our classroom environment flexible, learned about social emotional concepts and its integration into modern classrooms. We also shared online projects and how to engage English language learners in community life. This course we've prepared together with my colleague Liudmyla. Therefore, in the final module, we would like to share the co-teaching models and ways to grow professionally. However, I would like to focus on the strategies that can be applied while working in an inclusive classroom, also known as collaborative team teaching. Co-teachers are often general education teachers and special education teachers working together in a general educational classroom. You plan lessons together and teach together to support the diverse academic and social emotional needs of all students, those who have been identified as having a disability and those who haven't. There are 6 basic models of co-teaching. Let's learn how each model works, what it looks like in the classroom, and when to use it. We'll also discuss the benefits and challenges of each co-teaching module. Number 1, team teaching. In team teaching, both teachers are in the room at the same time, but take turns teaching the whole class. Team teaching is sometimes called tag team teaching. You and your co-teacher are a bit like co-presenters at the conference or the Oscars. You don't necessarily plan who takes which part of the lesson and when one of you makes a point. The other can jump in and elaborate if needed. In team teaching, as well as the 5 other co-teaching models, a teacher team may be made up of the 2 general education teachers, 2 special education teachers, or one of each. Or in some cases, it may be a teacher and a paraprofessional working together. On the slide, you can see benefits, challenges, and when to use this particular model. Number 2, parallel teaching. In parallel teaching, the team splits the class into 2 groups, and each teacher teaches the same information at the same time. Parallel teaching works well to differentiate instruction. If you forgot what it is, please refer to Module 1, Part 1. Students can benefit from learning different material in a smaller group. Parallel teaching can be a comfortable way to start co-teaching. You and your co-teacher plan together to make sure you're covering the same material. And since you're teaching your half of the class, you are less likely to feel closely observed by your colleague. Here is a closer look at parallel teaching. Please look at the slide. Number 3, station teaching. In station teaching, the class is divided into 3 or more groups and the classroom has multiple learning centers. As the students rotate through the stations, the teachers teach the same material in different ways to each group. If there are more stations than teachers, some stations may be student-led and at least one will focus on independent work or practice opportunities. Both you and your co-teacher are responsible for planning and teaching an in-depth concept that helps meet the overall lesson goal. Learn more about station teaching on the slide. Number 4, alternative teaching. In alternative teaching, one teacher instructs most of the class and the other teacher teaches an alternate or modified version of the lesson to a smaller group of students. Alternative teaching is also sometimes described as big group, small group teaching. Small groups are often put together based on students' learning needs. You and your co-teacher will need to find time to look over student data. This will help you figure out which students need support filling in gaps in background knowledge, which students need remediation, or which students could benefit from accelerated learning because they already know the content or have mastered the skills of the large group lesson. Here is more of what you need to know about alternative teaching. Please refer to the slide. Number 5, one teach, one assist. In the one teach, one assist model of co-teaching, one teacher teaches a full group lesson while the other teacher roams and helps individual students. This is sometimes called one teach, one support because the second teacher often provides additional support for learning or behavior management. On the slide, you can read more about this co-teaching method. Number 6, one teach, one observe. In a one teach, one observe setting, one teacher serves as a primary instructor while the other is simply observing students learning and collecting data which can be useful in determining what instruction takes place next, seeing which students need additional help, deciding what co-teaching module may be used next to address any identified needs, and identifying and tracking helpful school services such as individual plans, functional behavior assessment, behavior intervention plans, or response to intervention. Please read the slide attentively to learn about benefits, drawbacks, and when to apply this model. Co-teaching definitely has benefits, but it can also be challenging to implement. It can be especially hard for new teachers who are paired up with teachers who have more experience, or for co-teachers whose teaching philosophies differ from each other. But there are several steps you can take to help make co-teaching work. Plan who is doing what. No matter which co-teaching module you use, you and your co-teacher need to thoughtfully plan out which responsibilities each of you will have. Planning is vital to your success as a co-teaching team. Agree on expectations. Having a conversation before the year begins about your expectations for students, behavior, homework can help you work out any differences you may have and come to a consensus for how your shared class will run. The next idea is understand the needs of all of your students. It's critical that both you and your co-teacher understand the needs of all of your students, including those who learn and think differently. Another idea is use signposting. Making sure both of your names appear on the door, on assignments, and in the classroom can also help your students see you as the team you are. Finally, keep setting aside time to collaborate. Planning and reflecting on the lessons you teach together is especially important. Keeping lines of communication open, raising concerns respectfully, and having a supportive and involved administrator can help bridge any gaps. I think this is a good place to leave things for now. We hope our experience and recommendations will be useful and your work with colleagues will be an exciting and pleasant experience. In the next part, we would like to share some ideas on professional development for English teachers. I will now hand you over to Liudmyla, who will continue the discussion.